This includes our next generation foundation model, Gemini, which is still in training. Gemini was created from the ground up to be multimodal, highly efficient at tool and API integrations, and built to enable future innovations like memory and planning. While still early, we are already seeing impressive multimodal capabilities not seen in prior models. Once fine-tuned and rigorously tested for safety, Gemini will be available at various sizes and capabilities, just like Palm 2.
The Generalized Multimodal Intelligence Network, popularly known as Gemini, promises to change the scope of things in the AI industry. Designed by Google's DeepMind division, this intuitive AI tool works like ChatGPT. However, it comes with exceptional processing and problem-solving skills that you possibly wouldn't get from other current language models like GPT-4 and even the highly revered GPT-5. In today's video, I'll reveal Gemini's amazing features and explain why it might just be the real ChatGPT killer. So let's get right into the video. Gemini is a large language model that processes written prompts and generates accurate replies. As I mentioned at the start of this video, this tool is essentially an optimized version of ChatGPT. That means it can do all of the basic and complex stuff that ChatGPT does, and even much more. One of the key areas where Gemini will excel more than other AI chatbots is planning and memory. And ironically, these are some of the areas where ChatGPT has struggled so far. For instance, some of you must have noticed how ChatGPT tends to forget the context of a conversation after a few paragraphs. Well, this is actually not a defect in its function. The reason why this happens is because the memory of the language model that powers it is limited. Essentially, tokens are the basic unit that a language model uses to compute the length of a text. Generally, one token is equivalent to 4 characters in the English language. Similarly, 100 tokens are equal to 75 words. Currently, ChatGPT's basic token limit only supports responses of between 500 to 600 words. And once this is exhausted, the AI model truncated and incomplete responses like we see in this example here, where literally it stops generating text in the middle of a sentence. Usually, you can work your way around this by simply asking ChatGPT to continue generating the response. But of course, the long-term solution would be to increase the token limit, and that's exactly what OpenAI has done with the GPT-4. At the moment, GPT-4 has the capacity to process up to 32,000 tokens at a go. This simply means the memory of the GPT-4 can handle up to 25,000 word prompts and responses per conversation. This is definitely a huge improvement of what is already obtainable from GPT 3.5. However, there's a strong sense of optimism among users and experts that the token limit can be extended even further to give us more leverage with the model's current capabilities, like memory and planning. Recently, 3 scholars, Eidar Bulatov, Yuri Kuratov, and Mikhail Burtsev, released an exciting research paper titled Scaling Transformer to 1 million Tokens and Beyond Using RMT. In case you haven't heard the word before, RMT stands for Recurrent Memory Transformer. Basically, RMT is a revolutionary method that extends the capabilities of transformers to process long sequences. For those who do not know, what a transformer does is it extracts or analyzes the any input in this case would be in the form of a text, meaning anything you would write to Gemini, gives the input context, and then based on the context, it will produce an output, which would be the answers. So this is why sometimes the answers in LLMs don't make sense, because of the process other large language models use to produce outputs. By utilizing memory tokens and segment processing, RMT will be able to handle sequences orders of magnitude longer than any current language model. So basically, what this means is that by using RMT, Google foresees to be able to process much more data, resulting in the capability of producing longer interactions with the model, alongside with better long-term planning and better memory about topics or details within the interaction. So, if Google really wants to outdo OpenAI's ChatGPT and other AI chatbots in terms of memory capacity, all they need to do is integrate the RMT technology into Gemini. This would completely blow out the competition. I mean, the thought of it alone is really exciting, especially when you consider that 1 million tokens translates roughly to 750,000 words. That's enough tokens to write you just about any document you can think of. You could even write 100 research papers, and you'll still have spare tokens. If you recall, at the beginning of this video, I spoke about how Gemini is expected to offer exceptional problem-solving skills. Recently, I stumbled on another research paper that discusses a next-level prompting method called Tree of Thoughts, or TOT for short. Using this new framework for language model inference, a language model can take specific decisions by considering multiple different reasoning paths while self-evaluating its choices to determine the next line of action. More interestingly, this framework allows a language model to backtrack when necessary and choose a different path. In other words, the TOT technique basically gives a language model the freedom to go back and correct itself whenever it makes a wrong decision or prediction. But the good thing about it is that the process of going back and forth is hidden from the end user, so you only get to see your prompt and the response generated by the language model. Critically, the TOT framework operates based on 4 things, which are thought decomposition, thought generator, state evaluator, and search algorithm. Thought decomposition is the process of dividing the prompt or question into several tasks that are easier to solve. Thought generator is the part where the TOT defines the tasks that were generated during the thought decomposition process. State evaluator is used to expand the tree to find a good path to solve the entire problem. And finally, the search algorithm is the part where the tree is expanded further to find a good path to solve each task. According to the researchers, the TOT technique will enhance the problem-solving abilities of language models, allowing it to generate better results than other prompting techniques like the chain of thoughts technique. Essentially, the chain of thoughts technique is a way of promoting a language model to break down the task into intermediate reasoning steps and solving the problem step by step. To confirm this hypothesis, these brilliant researchers tested ChatGPT, which uses the chain of thought prompting against the TOT prompting technique in tasks like creative writing and Game of 24. Surprisingly, ChatGPT had a success rate of 4%, while the TOT prompting technique achieved a success rate of 74%. And just for the record, 4 of the scholars who wrote this interesting research paperwork at Google DeepMind. This basically suggests that the company is looking to integrate the TOT technique into Gemini. We'll talk more on this later, but for now, let's focus on the limitations of the current AI chatbots and how the TOT prompting technique can solve them. Critically, the inability of ChatGPT to search systematically in a large space is one significant problem that users have had to live with. Rather than backtrack to try and find alternate paths and solutions, ChatGPT just sticks to a particular path. Honestly, this is one of the most frustrating things about using the chatbot. And that's why I'm hoping that Google integrates the TOT technique into Gemini. Perhaps the only disadvantage that Gemini might have, at least in the early stages, is that it's only going to be able to accept inputs and texts. In this regard, Gemini will play catch-up with other chatbots and language models like Google Bard, Palm 2, and GPT-4. But over time, I expect that Google will add support for more modalities to further enhance the level of interaction between humans and Gemini. Obviously, AI models like this always have an element of risk to them. As pointed out in a recent research paper by DeepMind, the model is likely to have long-term horizon planning features, allowing it to perform sequential plans involving multiple steps and unfolding over long time horizons. In other words, it will be able to adapt to unexpected obstacles and adversaries as they occur. While this could be seen as an advantage, it could also be a disadvantage, because it suggests that the AI model might be able to predict what humans can do, and perhaps evolve to have a mind of its own. Gemini is still in the works, so we don't really have all the necessary information about its features and capabilities. But going by what we've seen so far and the pedigree of the people working on the project, I think it actually has a good chance to beat ChatGPT and become the most popular AI chatbot in the world. As we mentioned earlier in this video, the Gemini AI model is an initiative by DeepMind, a subsidiary of Google that deals exclusively with AI technology. Founded by a group of 3 friends, including Demis Hassabis, Shane Legg, and Mustafa Suleiman, DeepMind is a London-based AI startup. In 2014, the company was purchased by Google for around $600 million. However, it has continued to operate as an independent entity. Just in case you are wondering, all of the 3 founding members of this startup have a reputable background in artificial intelligence. Co-founder and current CEO of the company, Demis Hassabis, and the rest of the team were responsible for designing AlphaGo, a computer program for playing the abstract strategy board game called Go. Using advanced search trees and deep neural networks, AlphaGo was able to defeat Lee Sedol, one of the strongest Go players in the world. After the game, which happened in March 2016, the 18-time World Go title winner said he was stunned by the ability of the program. "I thought AlphaGo was based on probability calculation, and that it was merely a machine," Lee said. "But when I saw this move, I changed my mind. Surely AlphaGo is creative." Back then, this achievement made headlines everywhere across the world. But right now, Demis Hassabis hopes to replicate the same success with Gemini. The DeepMind team was also responsible for writing the Transformer research paper, explaining a novel neural network for language understanding. This research paper demonstrated the capacity of Transformer to outperform both recurrent and convolutional models on academic English to German and English to French translation benchmarks. It also showcases how the Transformer requires less computation to train and how it is a better fit for machine learning hardware. Interestingly, the Transformer architecture explained in this paper was one of the foundational concepts that ChatGPT was built upon. So, in other words, OpenAI integrated Google's framework into ChatGPT. WaveNet, a generative raw audio model, is another great technology introduced by DeepMind.
So we've worked hard with WaveNet, and we are adding, as of today, 6 new voices to the Google Assistant. Let's have them say hello.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm your Google Assistant.
Welcome to Shoreline Amphitheater. We hope you'll enjoy Google I/O.
Back to you, Sundar.
This is actually very impressive if you consider that this technology was developed back in 2018. And of course, we cannot forget AlphaFold, an intuitive system that can accurately predict 3D models of protein structures. This impressive technology was once described by Forbes as a scientific achievement of the first order. And as expected, it has helped to accelerate research in almost every field in biology. So, as you can see, DeepMind has all of these different outstanding technologies, albeit as independent entities. Their ability to build these useful tech tools between 2014 and now is even more impressive. And that's why I'm convinced that they'll do a good job with Gemini as well. Do you agree with me? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. If you've enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more explosive content like this. And if you like this video, check this one out too.